Good afternoon, and welcome to Live Healthy Miami Gardens Facebook Live weekly health and wellness series, brought to you by the City of Miami Gardens, Live Healthy Miami Gardens. Our goal is to bring our community information and resources to help us make the healthiest choices possible for ourselves as a Miami Gardens community and our families. My name is Katia Harris. I'm Community Health Data Specialist at Jesse Trice Community Health System, Program Manager of our Breastfeeding Touchpoint program based out of Jesse Trice Miami Gardens, member with Live Healthy Miami Gardens, and your host for today. As you know, Live Healthy Miami Gardens was born from the realization that although health is largely influenced by our individual choices, the conditions in the communities where we live, learn, work, worship, and play also play major contributing factors to the racial and ethnic health disparities and healthcare disparities faced, as well as our overall ability to make healthier choices. We know that these conditions are systemic, historical, and continue to impact us as communities of color as a whole here and now. Live Healthy is a community initiative and part of the city's efforts to address these conditions and reduce poor health outcomes throughout through the transformation of policies, our environment, and the healthcare system overall, making the city of Miami Gardens a healthier place to be. Joining us today is one of our partners, Cheryl Lorie, who is the breastfeeding coordinator with the Department of Health's Miami-Dade WIC program and executive member of Breastfeed Miami. Thank you again, Cheryl, for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, including your role with WIC and with Breastfeed Miami?
You, and thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure working with our co-partners and everything in the community. So like you said, my name is Cheryl Lorie. I am also an international board certified lactation consultant, IBCLC for short, and I am the breastfeeding coordinator for the Miami-Dade WIC program for the last 15 years. And I got started in this because I had babies and I nursed my children and I wanted to help other women do the same, knowing that there is challenges in that and how to find resources and support and to overcome these challenges so that moms, dads, and their families can reach those breastfeeding goals. So Breastfeed Miami, well, let me back up a second. WIC, if you didn't know, is Women, Infants, and Children. Our program, we're a nutrition and breastfeeding program. We focus on women that are pregnant, postpartum, up to the year of 1 year postpartum, and children from birth to the age of 5. Our goal is to provide healthy foods so we can impact those health outcomes and have a direct link because we know nutrition and health go hand in hand, and with the hope and the data to support it, to reach some of those milestones that you shared in your opening on what Jesse Trice stands for and what their mission and vision it stands for too. So that's a little bit about WIC. And going back into Breastfeed Miami was born out of desire and a need to have a coalition type organization in our community that focuses on breastfeeding to make Miami-Dade County a breastfeeding friendly community that represents equity and diversity and inclusion. And how do we do that? Well, we become a resource and organization filled with partners throughout our community, such as Jesse Trice and Live Healthy Miami Gardens, and many managed care and nonprofit organizations and hospitals and doctors, pediatricians, OB/GYNs, just to name a few, to come together to be able to bring about that change, that systemic change. Mm-hmm. And we do that through collaboration, and we do that through policy change and advocacy and normalizing breastfeeding, little by little, step by step, to bring awareness to our community. We all know that breastfeeding is best for families, but a lot of families either don't get started, they don't continue, and they run into problems. Breastfeed Miami is hopefully going to be a premier resource in our county to be able to help families to overcome those challenges and to normalize breastfeeding and to be able to point you in the direct the right direction for those resources and that support. And that's through our partnerships and our collaboration.
Thank you.
One can do a lot can do even more.
Right. And it goes into the 2022 breastfeeding awareness theme, right? Together we can make a difference.
Together we can make a difference. You're right.
So,
Go ahead.
Who is Breastfeed Miami for? I know you said you mentioned that part of Breastfeed Miami's mission or goal is to be inclusive. So does that mean it's just for mommy and baby, or who are the resources that Breastfeed Miami is providing for?
Inclusion is everyone, whether you are exclusively feeding at the breast, partially feeding at the breast, chest feeding, whether you identify as a man or you identify as a woman, for grandparents, for fathers, all of these, every member of the family unit, friends, extensions, corporations, even government entities. This should be, Breastfeed Miami should be a representation of all, regardless of race, color, religion, sexual orientation. This should be a one-stop shop to be able to get that support you needed to be able to reach your breastfeeding goals. And maybe it's to bring about change in your organization, to make them more breastfeeding friendly for employees. That would fall into the advocacy piece. Maybe it's having internal policies or even laws put in place in Miami-Dade County to ensure the rights of mothers and fathers and wanting to breastfeed their children, whether that be at the breast, whether that be while using formula, or whether that be chest feeding or pump feeding. Everybody should be represented at the table.
Right. And I appreciate that. And everything that Breastfeed Miami has to offer so far has been beautiful. It's been comprehensive. It's been just readily available. Just from what I've seen with families and my experience with dealing with the families. Let me back up some. And I forgot to mention in the beginning that our focus is on the National Breastfeeding Month Kickoff, which begins this coming Monday, is the first day of National Breastfeeding Month. And that will also make 11 years that Breastfeed Miami has coordinated events and activities throughout Miami-Dade County to celebrate, correct?
Are correct. So in the state of Florida and many other states in the country, even at the federal level, August is not acknowledged, is noticed as Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Okay. So, but then we also have August 1st through the 7th, which is World Breastfeeding Week, where, crazy as it seems, the entire world recognizes and celebrates breastfeeding families for the first 7 days of the month. So, like you said, we have been hosting our event for 11 years. The last 2 years we weren't virtual, but man, we're coming back into the community, and we are definitely coming back with a power punch because we've got so much going on, which is very exciting. So to kick off the Breastfeeding Month and World Breastfeeding Week, the last Saturday, or the first Saturday of August, which would fall into World Breastfeeding Week, we have hosted community events. And in that community event is also the Big Latch On, which is a global initiative to break the world record of women breastfeeding, pump feeding, chest feeding. Gender, race, religion does not come to the table with that. If you are providing breast milk, whatever the means are, you come and be counted, right? And this takes place on the first Saturday of the month. And it's very time specific. It's at 10:20 in the morning. And that's incorporated into our event. And the event is meant to normalize breastfeeding, whatever breastfeeding looks like to you, not to me, not to Katia, but to you and your family. And that's what is important, is that we recognize and support where families are, not based on what we think it should be. We know that there's a lot of different position statements out there. The American Academy of Pediatrics just extended their breastfeeding recommendations. The World Health Organization has theirs as also. But how do you get to that goal if you don't have support and you don't know what you're doing? You don't know what you don't know. And as a first-time mom, and even as a second or third or fourth or 10th time mom, each pregnancy is different, and mothers and fathers need support either way. Okay. So coming back to our event, so we're host this event to normalize breastfeeding so other families can come to an event where they feel welcomed, where they feel like this is normal. They're not dealing with pressures from society saying don't do that in public, which is a shame that people feel shame to do something to take care of their child. And we also have a health component built into it. We want it to be a place where families can get resources. And, well, you're going to drag your kids along too, right? And that's our hope. Well, we need to have something for them too, because they're not going to want to go listen to workshops, which we have a variety of workshops taking place where families can come and learn about different things like car seat safety and kangaroo care. All right. And hear a physician talk on childhood milestones and learning about postpartum support or what to do when you're going through birth. And what if you're an exclusive pumper? What if you have to go back to work with pumping? You're going to learn about that too. And there's a little bit of sprinkling in different topics. And there's a little bit for everyone. But now coming back to those kids, we have things going on for the kids too, where we're having the event is at Doral Legacy Park, which you would be able to access the park either by the Turnpike or the Palmetto. So it's centrally located and plenty of parking. But not only that, there's a splash pad. So the kids should come prepared to have fun in the water because we know how hot it is in Miami. Parents probably want to put their toes in the water too because the heat is like crazy right now. And then the park is such a lovely park. It's gated. The playground has artificial turf and is cushioned to be able to have kids play safely. There's picnic. There's picnic tables. There's a sand volleyball court. And then what's super exciting for me, seeing how I've been doing this for 11 years, is the event is indoors, which means air conditioning, right? So you're not going to be out in our hot August sun. So there's also an indoor playground where kids can come and they can run up and down in the play gym, and we'll have kids activities and face painting and tattoo artists and balloon art. And then for the adults, because we all like to win a little something, we're going to have some raffles in there too. So there's something for everyone to be able to take part in, and hopefully we'll learn a little bit. We'll come together. We'll have some yoga, a little bit of yoga for the families to get them moving. And those are some of the highlights right now. It's still developing. We're starting to, get our agenda ironed out and what we're doing. But that's our kickoff, okay? And you only asked me about that one.
Yeah.
But there's more coming, right?
Right. And so just to reiterate, so the Breastfeed Awareness Family Day will be Saturday, August 6th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. But the big latch-on will start at 10:15. And the event will take place at Doral Legacy Park. On the following week, Friday, August 12th, from 5:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., Breastfeed Miami is also hosting a Girl Talk movie night on two platforms. One, the virtual Breastfeeding Cafe on Zoom, and that's a collaborative effort with Jesse Trice of Healthy Miami Gardens and WIC Miami-Dade, along with Breastfeed Miami and Sunshine and Better at the Sunshine Health Welcome Room. And on Saturday, August 27th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., we'll have our Art of Breastfeeding closing exhibition. And this is our closing exhibition because the Art of Breastfeeding will also take place at the Rao Legacy Park starting at 11, and as a pre-event for the Girl Talk movie night. So the closing exhibition again is Saturday, August 27th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Jesse Trice Barbara Jordan Center. So those are the events that's going on in August for Breastfeed Miami. And since we're just on the topic right now, what events does WIC have going on during that time as well?
So we have exciting stuff happening there. So if you are a WIC client and or you don't know how to even enroll in WIC, you can look at the ticker down below that should be coming through soon to learn where you can sign up for WIC or find out more information on our website or call the appointment line or even our breastfeeding helpline, which is open to the community. So if you are a WIC client, we have 3 different events taking place. One which is in the central area, one that's in the north at our Unity and our Hialeah sites. Also our Juanita Mann site, which is the Frederica Wilson Juanita Mann site, where even Jesse Trice is even co-located with us. And that's in the central. And then down in Florida City at our Homestead site, we will be having baby showers, which for pregnant moms or moms that just had their babies, if you're breastfeeding, great. If you need to learn about breastfeeding, this is the place to come. And if you're not breastfeeding, you're still welcome, okay? Because this is a celebration of you and helping and learning. And there's going to be some games, a little bit of food, some raffles. Moms will come away with a little small gift. And that's happening internal. So if you're a WIC client, you can participate in one or all of them, actually. And it's a great way to find out more about WIC and what we do, and also breastfeeding and that. But if I can go back and just share a little bit about the Friday, August 12th event, very special because Jesse Trice and WIC have a community support group called Girl Talk, and it's virtual. But it's important to highlight that because we all need support. And when we go to our best friends or we go to our partners, this is especially for our breastfeeding moms and families to be able to meet with other moms, to be able to talk about breastfeeding and parenting and, man, my kid made me nuts last night, and to talk and figure out and make things normal. Wow, that happened to you too, so I'm not alone. And that's the beauty of that. So I wanted to make sure that people know that there is a virtual option, and occasionally it's in person too, because the support group needs its own promotion and its own recognition for that, because it's a really good resource. And then just to build out a little bit of the art of breastfeeding, I don't know if you're going to ask me that, but the art of breastfeeding, wow. The Breastfeed Miami put out a call to local artists to come together with a unique theme that's related to breastfeeding. So artists can create their works of art in many different mediums, whether it be watercolor or acrylics or photography or clay. And they created their works of art. And the last year was our inaugural year. This year is the second, and it's going to be traveling, and the exhibition will be traveling. It will be stopping by August 6th at our breastfeeding event, Breastfeeding Awareness Family Day. And then like Katia mentioned, it will be at the Sunshine Health Welcome Room, along with Girl Talk and the movie night. There'll be a premiere, and that'll be a lot of fun. So you can see the art in a few different locations. And it's important to know what the art of breastfeeding is, because its focus is on diversity and our Black moms and Black families to be able to show the beauty of breastfeeding through expression. And I don't know if she, our host of today is an artist herself. Sorry, had to say it, but her art is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
Thank you. And with all of that said, because with the different organizations between Jesse Tries Live Healthy, WIC, all of us come together through and with Breastfeed Miami, and in our own respective roles, we have the common goal of ensuring that families have equitable access to these resources to breastfeed the way that the family feel that is best for them. So regardless of which hat, the WIC hat, mom hat, Breastfeed Miami hat, what do you hope that families or the support systems or allies of those families gain by attending any best case scenario, all of these events?
Good problem to have, right? Having everybody attend everything. You know, when I think about my history in breastfeeding, and I think about the clients that I help and the families that I talk to, I always come back to normalized breastfeeding and the language we use. And it kills me when I hear somebody say, I only breastfed 2 months. Or I was embarrassed to breastfeed in public, you know? Or how long are you planning on doing that? What is that, something gross and disgusting, right? So that, or even the pressure from their partner, their dad, or their grandmother, their mother, or friends or family, to not feel like they can do something that feels so right to them. So my hope is always that people feel empowered and they see that they're not alone, and they see all these people come together to support breastfeeding, and they just feel normal and they feel proud of what they're currently doing, whatever that may be. I'm not sure if that directly answers your question, but I don't want to hear people not feel strong about the choices that they make. Right. And get the right information, because there is so much wrong information, and a lot comes from our support systems. We know that support is key. You can look up so many different studies, and most of those studies say they need support. So we want to be that support. Right. And maybe
informed support too,
because
we have I have my support system. That doesn't mean I was being told, the things that can help me and my family thrive in our breastfeeding experience. Although we do mean well with our support systems.
I don't believe that people think the support system. I don't think those people are, think, man, I'm hurting them.
Right, exactly.
And we internalize a lot typically. So, and then you don't want to vocalize, you don't want to say that because you don't want to cause family or friend issues. But it is informed support, because we need to give out the right information. And if you're relying on generation after generation after generation, it's not based on the facts. So goal is, number one, is to support people where they are first. And I can't tell you how many times we've had families that only breastfed 2 weeks or 6 months or 3 months, and then they have another child, and they got the support, which may have been too late. They may have stopped breastfeeding, and they say forever, I didn't know that. So now you know, and we come back to that informed care. Now you know, what are you going to do with the information?
Right. And to answer your question, that did answer my question. That answered my follow-up question about why these observances like the National Breastfeeding Month or the World Breastfeeding Week or the Black Breastfeeding Week are important. And especially for Miami-Dade County, this is why it's so important. This is why it's so vital. We talked about why the support and the resources and the access and activities are important in supporting families in breastfeeding. And I think you mentioned this when we first started our conversation, but why is breastfeeding important? Why is chest feeding, pump feeding, however that breastfeeding experience look? Why is that important for families?
First, we know that first and foremost is the health benefits that come from it. And we have the reduction of different illnesses. And it doesn't necessarily mean that your child will never get sick, right? Or they'll never develop different health crises. But they're better protected with breastfeeding than without. And we know the antibodies in breast milk are huge. They are beneficial, and they are there from the moment a woman gives birth until she decides to stop breastfeeding. Even if she goes into toddlerhood, which we call extended breastfeeding, the child is always going to be getting those antibodies. So we have reductions of ear infections and respiratory issues, chest colds or breathing, respiratory stuff, diarrhea, stomach issues, skin issues like eczema. Breast milk, you put a little bit of breast milk on mosquito bites and it helps. It also has pain remedy properties. So a baby who is having a procedure or having their immunizations, if mother puts baby to the breast during those procedures, it helps them to get through it easier. Sometimes they'll look up at whoever's giving them the injection and they go back down to nursing. They don't even realize what occurred. And sadly, even toddlers or children who have developed cancers like leukemia, and they're going through treatment, but they're still breastfeeding. They can't hold down actual food, but breastfeeding is the thing that's keeping them hydrated and nourished. And because it's absorbed 100% in the gut, so it helps. And we know that certain, chemotherapy and different types of therapies can be very hard for people to eat. So that's it. For mom, we have a reduction of breast cancer and uterine cancer. And if mom is a diabetic, they tend to need less insulin at that time. Also, the reduction of obesity in children, because baby learns, you can't force a child to breastfeed at the breast if they are not hungry, right? With a bottle, we're in control of the feed, so baby tends to take in more calories. But with breastfeeding, they don't, so they take in what they need and not excess. And there's lifelong support in the reduction of breastfeeding. Now, nothing is going to help you if you have a drive-through diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're visiting drive-throughs very frequently because now you're taking in excess, but you're always better off with breastfeeding. And what happens if you do have a drive-through diet? Maybe you don't have the cleanest or the healthiest. Well, your breast milk will still be perfectly fine for your baby. Your health will be impacted. Your baby will be perfectly fine on your milk. So moms don't have to think that I don't have a good diet, I don't need to, I can't breastfeed.
Okay. What activities should our community look forward to from Breastfeed Miami in the upon I want to say after National Breastfeeding Month and throughout 2023?
So when we first started Breastfeed Miami, it was breastfeeding and beyond, right? We had a beyond piece, but our focus was to do stuff for August, Breastfeeding Month. So now our focus is on advocacy, bringing change into our community, whether that be at the local government level, state or federal, helping businesses with workplace breastfeeding support. We also want to be able to support our professionals that are working with mothers, fathers, and children, grandparents too, and offer them continuing education to be able to learn more about breastfeeding and how they can help their clients. At some point in all of our professions, you will be working with a family. If you're in maternal and child health, because that's where we're coming from. And you will have somebody that's pregnant, and you will have a father who asks questions, and you may have families that they're single mothers or single dads raising their children. So we need to focus on those things. So we see us moving towards continuing education for professionals, even for people in our community that may not be associated with maternal and child health, but want to learn more and want to become more involved in these things. That would be where we're headed. In March, we had our first professional webinar that was online. And we'll see how things go if we do it in person or a hybrid of both next year. But we are hoping to have another one and continue that yearly also.
That's awesome. So I'm glad to hear all that Breastfeed Miami is doing, everything that WIC is doing, especially with us as partners within your own projects. And it's just amazing hearing about just the impact that this already has, but it could have, not only for the families, but the communities and institutions that support these families or that these families frequent. Now, for these upcoming events, how can the community, or not even just for the upcoming events, but to access any of these resources and get involved with the Breastfeed Miami Collective, how can communities either register or sign up?
So very proudly, and we have just launched our Breastfeed Miami website. So it's breastfeedmiami.org, and you can look down below at the ticker, and you'll be able to see that there. And it's just newly developed, and it's continually developing. So you can go onto our webpage, you can learn a little bit more about us. There'll be a link on how to get involved. You can also go over to our events page and see all the events that are currently taking place. We have an area for providers, and then we'll also have an area for parents, and we want to be able to have blog posts where people can learn more and to collaborate. Again, this is community. Oh, thank you. There it is. Look how awesome that is. This is a collective community project, a group. It is a group within individuals and organizations coming together for this. So you don't have to be associated with an organization. You might just be a family who wants to be more involved in being able to support and further what our mission is. But you can see here at the bottom, you can enter your information and we'll contact you. You have our email. Our phone number is our WIC breastfeeding helpline. So please, if you call, just mention I saw the Breastfeed Miami site. Can I speak to somebody about that? My name is Cheryl. Feel free to ask for me or the breastfeeding coordinator, and they'll pass you over to me. And we'll get you more involved. We have meetings once a month. It's on the third Tuesday, right, Katia? I think the third Tuesday at 11. It's virtual, so you don't even have to leave the comfort of your home or your office, and you can join us and be part of that. We need as much creativity and direction and involvement as possible, because that's what's going to make this go.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm still playing with the website.
That's okay.
But thank you for that. I know you discussed a little bit about the advocacy component, what we want to do next steps. What is, if any, what is our call to action? What is your call to action?
Our call to action is to be able to promote, advocate, support for our mothers, our fathers, partners, families. We want to advocate for them and be able to provide to be able to know that them breastfeeding in our county is okay, and that it's normal and it's available, and at some point we will develop a call to action steps and hope that the community will see themselves in those steps things that they can do to bring about change, whether you're at the government level or you're at the family level or you're at a for-profit or a hospital, that the small little things that we do independently will lead to greater change.
Thanks for that. Any final thoughts before we jump off?
I hope everybody will stop by one of the 3 events, or stop by if you're a WIC client, be sure to stop by one of those events too. Let us know. The breastfeeding helpline is open to everybody in our community, whether you're a WIC client or not. If you are a WIC client, you can get support from our lactation consultants, and that's free of charge. And we also have our breastfeeding peer counselors to be able to provide assistance. You know, ideally, when a parent goes to their pediatrician or their OBGYN, they get accurate breastfeeding information and support. But if they're not, and they're not sure, they need extra, the resource is there. There's a phone number that you can call to get help. And I hope that parents will take advantage of that to call us.
Okay, and thank you again, Cheryl. For anyone, hello, Olukemi, how are you, girl? So I'm glad to see her. She's also one of the nutritionists for Miami-Dade WIC in the Carol location. So again, the Breastfeed Miami upcoming events will be Saturday, August 6th, Friday, August 12th, and Saturday, August 27th. You can find out more information on these 3 events and register for these events through the breastfeedmiami.org/events. You can also check out more information on the events on the Breastfeed Miami Instagram page at Breastfeed Miami. Cheryl, do you want to plug one more time the WIC events? Do you have the dates, or where can I find more information?
So we have, well, they can call the breastfeeding helpline and we'll give that to them. So August 26th in Liberty City. We have in Hialeah August 31st, 30th or 31st. Homestead, Central Miami, which is off 27th and Northwest 27th and 25th Street, and Hialeah will be taking place on the 30th or the 31st. I just don't know those particular dates. So it's all at the end of the month.
Okay, and definitely the North, Central, and South locations of Miami-Dade County for both entities hosting events. And with the Jesse Trice and WIC partnership, we're also having 2 in-person breastfeeding cafe kickoffs. The one Cheryl just shared during one of the baby showers will take place Friday, August 26th, from 1 to 4 at the Frederica Wilson Juanita Men's Center during Black Breastfeeding Week. And that same week on Tuesday, August 23rd, from 5:30 p.m. through 6:30 p.m. At the Jesse Trice Barbara Jordan Community Health and Wellness Center. And on top of that, we'll still be hosting our virtual breastfeeding cafe on 2nd and 4th Fridays of the month at 3:00 p.m. You can find more information to register if you look at the ticker at Linktree JT Breastfeeding. JT as in Jesse Trice, JT Breastfeeding. And I think that's it. Oh yeah. And tune in next Tuesday at 3:00 p.m. to Live Healthy Miami Gardens Facebook Live, a weekly wellness series. Outside of that, have a good rest of your day. And thank you again, Cheryl.